Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all are having an amazing day, guys. In today's video, I have a mission. My mission is to prove to you that this champion, which I'm going to show you and also use in live arena, is not useless, okay? The one champion that I'm talking about, I pulled him recently and I was really disappointed that I pulled him, is Fjorad, okay? Fjorad has a really underwhelming reputation, right? People really think he's trash. My mission in this video is to prove the opposite. Now, I know for a fact that there are some people out there using this guy because he has a niche spot where he shines. Actually, he has a few. I also built a finite team recently that cut my time in half. I went from like 1 minute and 15 seconds to like 42 seconds, 44 seconds. I'm talking about Finite Heart 10, and it really improved my team a lot just by using him because of his A1. But that's another video. If you want to check it out, feel free. The link is in the description below. He's also used as a cooldown decrease champion with this skill, the A2, which is kind of nice because you can cycle it back pretty quickly with this skill right here that also grants an extra turn. So you can pretty much cycle that cooldown decrease back more often. If he's booked, it's even better. Now, obviously, there are other champions that can do the same thing, but, you know, at least he can do this as well. And if you have him on your roster, you have another cooldown decrease champion, which can be huge for Titus teams and just Hydra teams in general. Now, we are going to test him today in live arena, and I'm going to build him as my damage dealer. Now, we're going to take a look at his kit first so we know what we're dealing with, and then we're going to jump into live arena. So, the first thing that is super important to know, and that is kind of like the main thing that you want to use him for, right? That is his special power against the Gallon Pact. Every single skill here, I mean, most of the skills here, has an effect against the Gallon Pact. And that effect is this debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. Same here, okay? As well as a 2-turn freeze instead of a 1-turn freeze. He's decreasing the turn meter by 50% instead of 30% against the Gallon Pact champions. And pretty much everything he places, all the debuffs, cannot be resisted, okay? And Gallon Pact involves Ogrins, Lizards, Skinwalkers, and Orcs. And we're going to go through all these factions, and I'm going to highlight a few that you will see a lot in live arena, which is why he is strong, in my opinion. And then he has a similar thing going on in the second form with freeze debuffs that cannot be blocked or resisted. Now, the most important part right here is that I want to utilize this extra turn, okay? Because this skill right here, Wolfheart's Rage, attacks all enemies, places a freeze debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, and a 30% decrease speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. If an enemy is from the Gallon Pact, this cannot be blocked or resisted, okay? That is one of the skills that I'm going to utilize the most, okay? I'm going to go over the strategy that I'm using after we went through his skills, okay? So my goal is to place the freeze with this attack, and that's going to grant me an extra turn, right? Then I'm going to swap forms to this HP-based form. So I'm going to build him as an HP nuker, right? I'm going to build him in lethal and stone skin. Depending on what the situation looks like, I want to use the A2 or the A3. Let's go over the A2 first. Icequake attacks all enemies, places an extra hit, so a 2-hitter if they are on freeze. And in the best case, I throw someone with the first skill, get an extra turn, swap forms, and then use this skill, and this will be a 2-hitter. Each hit decreases each target's max HP by 25% of the damage inflicted, stacks up to 50%. Each hit also decreases each target's turn meter by 25%. This effect cannot be resisted if an enemy is under freeze, and so on. So again, the whole synergy in his kit is with freeze debuffs. Now the thing is that freeze, or champions that have a freeze debuff, are taking less damage, but he's only dealing damage if he's attacking targets under freeze. So it's kind of a contradiction, right? You have a debuff that is, bringing a damage reduction, but you're also trying to implement a nuker based on freeze. So it's a little contradiction, but you can make it work. Then the A3, and this is probably the most important skill here, okay? Why I think he's so good. Disciple of Torment. Attacks one enemy, will ignore 50% of the target's defense if the target is under a freeze debuff, will ignore 100% of the target's defense. That is crazy, okay? If you have a target under freeze and you will ignore 100% of the target's defense, that target will die, 100%. And he will also ignore block damage, which is also a very important side note. Now, here comes the interesting part though. If the target is killed while under a freeze debuff, also places a block revive debuff on them and places a freeze debuff on all enemies for one turn. Okay, so the block revive is a major factor here that makes him great, okay? And again, the freeze debuff cannot be blocked or resisted by enemies from the Gallon Pact. So you already see where this is going. We want to use him when the enemy is using, Ogryn Tribe champions. There's only Gizmek really that people are using. Other than that, there are not many PvP champions in here that are, super strong. You might see a Gurgo every now and then. Then from the Lizard Man, you have Lazarius. Now, the thing here also is that Lazarius and Gizmek are magic affinities, so it's kind of like, not the best idea to bring a Spirit Affinity Nuka, but it can work. You have Donnie, which is also magic affinity. But then again, people build him with high resistance, and he cannot resist Fjorad's freeze, right? So that is kind of an upside. If you don't weak hit, it's looking pretty good. And then you also have the Predator now, which seems very strong, right? With his perfect whale. Very RNG heavy if you can beat him or not. If he starts evading, it's pretty much nothing you can do. Then you have Sulfurion, right? Also a pretty good speed booster and HP burn champion that will burn down your stone skin and so on. So there are, a few meta champions in here in the Gallon Pact, and the most used ones, or I would say like the strongest ones, are actually in the Skinwalkers faction as well, like Marius, right? Everybody has Marius, and Fjorad is an excellent counter to Marius, as well as Galeas, right? Galeas is also a very, very strong nuker, ignoring block damage, and sometimes people use Mesomel too, right? Mesomel is actually a really solid sniper. Now, from the Orcs faction, there are, again, not that many that you will face in the arena. Ashnar is one of them, maybe. But yeah, other than that, not so many. Maybe Warlord every now and then, but at the highest rank of arena, people don't really use Warlord. So as you can see, there are a few champions that you would love to pick Fjorad against. And the most used one is probably Marius, right? Then there's also Wukong, obviously, and Nishak, right? So they can also pop up every now and then in a match, but most of the time, you will face Marius if you don't pick him first. All right, so there we go. I got him in a 4-piece stone skin set, 4-piece lethal set, and 1 feral piece. And this is what I came up with. 116k HP, 270 speed. I tried to, be as fast as possible. My HP gear is not that great, and I also have Embers and probably my best HP set. So he got kind of like, the second best set on my account. Kind of, right? So 103% crit rate, 320% crit damage. I have a 5-star soul, 334 accuracy, but I wasn't really focused on accuracy. There's one little thing that I want to change, and it's this chest right here. I want to get HP percentage on that, and then I'm pretty much done with this build, okay? All I really focused on was getting that HP up and make him as fast as possible. Then for the relic, I went with the Wand of Submission, which is probably the best relic you can give him. The Wand of Submission is, in my opinion, the best relic you can use for Arena, because you always have that RNG involved here, right? And RNG wins you games. Also loses you games sometimes, but it also can win you games, right? I went with Invigorated, and this one right here, I didn't really have another option, which just, you know, carved open the whereas default skill will ignore 10% of the target's resistance. Now, in the best case scenario, you could go with Necro Defense, right? So let's take a look at the skills. So I booked the A3. I pretty much stopped when I was done with the A3. The A2 got booked as well on the way, but I really just wanted to book this to ignore resistance with it. Then on the second form, everything is booked because that's where I'm going to use him the most. I want him to deal damage. You know, here's that extra damage, which is exactly what we want to do. We want to deal damage, so we need that extra damage. Here, he ignores additional resistance, which is not that important, but it helps, right? Also 20% more damage, which is what I was really after, and the 20% damage on the A1. Another thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that if the enemy places any type of debuff on your champions, he has a chance to place a freeze debuff on that enemy, which is kind of amazing, right? It is kind of amazing to have a passive like that. It's kind of similar to Torment, but different, and it helps, right? Also, this chance increases to 100%, and the debuff cannot be blocked or resisted if the target is from the Gallon Pact. And then also his passive on his second form is that he will always counterattack with his A1 whenever an enemy increases the cooldown of any of this champion skills, which is kind of nice, right? If you have a Fabian or whatever as enemy, or Crixia or any other champion that can increase your skills cooldown, he will attack with the A1, which can hit fairly hard. Whenever an ally is killed, has a 50% chance of placing a freeze debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, and champions from the Gallon Pact cannot block or resist it. So again, another chance to freeze enemy champions from the Gallon Pact. Also the other ones, but I really want to use him as a counter pick to those Gallon Pact champions, especially Marius. That's what we're going to use him for today, okay? And then here are the masteries. I don't know if they're perfect, but that's just what I went with. Lore of Steel, a little bit more HP right here, a little bit more accuracy. And then Helm Smasher. Also, I went with Opportunist because we want to make sure that we hit targets when they are on the freeze, and then we get additional 12% more damage. I want to deal more damage towards shield, and yeah, that is pretty much it. This right here doesn't really make sense, probably, but you know, I just went with it because most of the targets that I'm going to attack are probably not having higher HP than I do, right? Because, you know, I don't really want to use him against a Nice or whatever, right? Or a Commodus. All right, so let's jump into Live Arena. So just for my basic strategy is, you know, usually I'm always trying to go first or cut in somehow. And what I'm going to do is, if this guy doesn't pick Marius first, okay, so I'm Armans, I'm not going to pick Marius, okay? I want the enemy to pick Marius. That's why I'm picking Embrys. So I want to bring champions, or in order to utilize the freeze of Fjorad, I want to bring champions that can get rid of Stone Skin, because that's really the important part, right? If we are going first, I want to make sure that I can get rid of that Stone Skin so I can place the freeze. Let's actually go with Fjorda here. I don't know if that's gonna work out or not, but we're gonna try, okay? We have Leonardo here. The only Gallon Pact champion here is Uko, but we're gonna ban Nail for sure. 6-star Nail, that's gonna get banned without a doubt. Now let's see. Actually pretty surprised that this guy didn't pick Marius, but it is what it is. Maybe he doesn't have Marius. Who knows? But we're definitely going first. Also, I have to mention, this is off-season, right? So on season, this whole thing would be a whole different story, basically. And we would face much stronger, you know, opponents. Where here we are facing weaker opponents off-season. We can also face strong opponents here, don't get me wrong. But most of the time we won't, okay? Now, we put the freeze debuff on Uko, as you can see. It's a 2-turn freeze now. And what we're going to do is block revive that, okay? We're going to block revive Uko. Boom. Now, we got our mans frozen because we killed Uko with that A3. Now I can basically just, you know, or should we go with Fjorad again? I could go with Empress, but I'm going to go with Fjorad, okay. And then we're going to go with the A2. All right. Didn't go crazy with the damage, but we did some, okay. We also decreased the turn meter of our mans. And now we just, I mean, now we can swap forms with Empress, I guess. And just use A2 here, get rid of our mans. We don't want to get controlled, right? Now Leo can do his thing, that's okay. There's really nothing he can do anymore. I mean, I can just, you know, swap forms with Gala and strip those buffs. And then let's see. Yeah, we can kill Freya. Buff up. A3. A1. Okay, he survived that. It's okay. As soon as he kills Amberus, it's pretty much GG, right? But I think you already saw what Fjorad can do, okay? It's the A3 really that we want to utilize here with the block revive, okay? But again, like I said, for that to happen, we need champions that can strip Stone Skin. That is kind of like the most important part. If you want to go first, you gotta have a way to get rid of Stone Skin buffs. Otherwise, there's no point to go first, right? All right, let me actually see. Like, I'm just gonna include matches where I, you know, can use Fjorad here in this video, okay? So let's see. We're gonna try to pick, try to make the enemy pick Marius. Now, this is a level 87 player. This is probably not fair at all, but let's see. There are actually some low-level Krakens out there. You might be surprised. There are some super whales that are not level 100 yet, but they spend a lot of money. And they get a lot of good champions. The only thing that they are lacking, because the accounts are kind of new or newer, are artifacts and accessories, right? You cannot really buy stone skin or protection sets. That's not going to happen. Or relics, right? If you missed out on a year of relic mats from Chimera, that's a, you know, that's something you can't really buy, okay? All right, that was a little bit unfair, so I'm not going to include that in this video. So come on. We need a Fjorad match. We need a proper Fjorad match. Come on. And by the way, I actually used him 2 times in Siege, so he can be quite good there as well. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. I'm not going to pick Fabian here because he got Crixia, so it's very unlikely that he's going to pick Fabian as well. I really hope he's going to pick Marius because that's what I'm trying to bait him, right? I'm trying to bait him to pick Marius so I can pick Fjorad. Or any Gallon Pack champion, actually. But they're just not doing it. And I don't know why, what's going on. I guess we gotta pick Marius now because he's not. All right, come on. I didn't get a proper fight yet. I want to showcase Fjorad, and I can't. But that's the thing with niche picks, right? I had a session the other day where I picked him almost every fight. Because a lot of people are picking Marius first, but apparently not today. There we go. We got a Marius pick. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, we're gonna go with Empress and Fabian first. Okay, so he doesn't pick Fabian. Empress and Fabian, both of them can strip Stone Skin, so that's why I want to make sure that I have these champions. He can have Galateer or whatever. It doesn't actually matter. Obviously, it would be nice to have Galateer on our side, because then we have a backup, right? We can revive. He's one of the strongest revivers. We can revive, we can heal, we can cleanse, we can place block debuffs, and so on. So, you know, Galateer is still very strong, and it kind of is the carry as the support champion, right? If we don't have a reviver, there's no room for failure, okay? All right, so he got a nail. He got a nail. He got a nice. That is pretty nasty. But what we're gonna do is Fjorad, okay? We're gonna pick Fjorad. So let's do this. I'm gonna actually ban Nail, okay? Nail has a 6-star blessing. She's gonna rip through my champions. Absolutely nasty. So I don't wanna deal with that. Even though I know that Nice is gonna be gonna be super annoying to deal with. And maybe he's even first now, okay? Maybe he's even first now, but I had to ban Nail because my Fabian is not in Stone Skin. And, it is what it is. But I'm first. So that is good. No Stone Skin. That is crazy to me, okay? That is crazy. So let's see. I'm definitely going to swap forms here. Counterattack. Oh, so see, he placed the Enfeeble and got frozen. That is crazy. I got polymorphed. I might lose this because of this polymorph now. That is actually the case, okay? That is actually the case now. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this. Got polymorphed as well. Holy shit. Alright, so let's use the A3. No polymorph here. That is good. And now I'm gonna block revive Marius, okay? Alright, we've frozen the Nice. But we got polymorphed 2 times as well. Like, holy shit, is that annoying. I hate this blessing so much. It is actually terrible. I hate that this blessing exists. Let's use the A2. Alright. That was kind of nasty, but I don't think we're going to win this. Alright? I don't think we can win this. It's looking pretty rough. All I can do, basically, is try to put the petrification on him. But he has a wand on the Nice. So, yeah. Let's do this. No, why is he... Oh, I was too slow. But, man. Okay, so... Fabian died. And now Nice got frozen, okay? This is how it goes, guys. This is how it goes. Now we're gonna swap forms with Embrace and block revive Arbiter. Block revived Arbiter. The only champion he can revive now is Armance, I believe. So I'm gonna try to stun him. Obviously, it's gonna reflect. That is so annoying. Should I use the A3? I'm not quite sure. Maybe I should. Let's do this. Health swap. He's probably gonna kill my champions now with his AoE attack. Let's see if this works out. Oh, he got frozen again. This is insane, guys, okay? This is absolutely insane. Okay, we got a weak hit there. But now let's see the A2. Oh, he's gonna counterattack. He got... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use the A2. I have to. Right? I have to use the A2 here. Now maybe he will kill my Fjorad, but that's okay. There we go. All right, reviving everyone. Looking good. Now he will use the A2. Hopefully one of my... Oh, he doesn't have the A2. Well, that is good for us. Can weak hit. It's not so good. Block revived and Nice, and that's it. So there we go. Fjorad is an absolute beast if you ask me. That passive on the second form is incredibly strong. Now, obviously, this is probably not a crazy account, right? Nice has no soul and so on. So Probably not the strongest Nice we faced, but, you know, it is a Nice. So, yeah. This is actually the first match that I won against a Nice with a Fjorad. So, I'm happy about that. All right, let's see if we can find more fights where we can use Fjorad. We need another Fjorad fight. I need to show my boy Fjorad. I need to show what he can do. Come on. Ah, he picked Empress. All right. I mean, we can still go with that, I guess. Let's go with... Yeah, let's go with Marius. Let's go like this. Maybe we can still show him here, even though we don't face Marius. So yeah, the problem that I'm facing at the moment is that I can't really implement him if I don't pick Fabian, because I don't have another way to get rid of Stone Skin, and you know, I need another speed aura basically. Right, so that is kind of like the problem that I'm facing right now. I don't really have enough speed auras with the matching thing. I could maybe use somebody like He-Man or Carnage as a second damage dealer, but I would prefer champions that can strip buffs, right? Or can get rid of Stone Skin. Again, a Nice. So that is probably not the best case for a Fjorad, but we're still gonna try. He's probably gonna ban him, right? He's probably gonna ban him. We're gonna get rid of... Who are we gonna get rid of, though? Nice. Let's get rid of Nice. I don't really want to deal with another Nice right now. But we probably could, right? We probably could. All right. So let's see. A lot of Stone Skin. I actually don't know if I should A3 here. Let's actually do this. Swap forms and then A2. I actually wanna block revive our base. Okay, so you know, that is just so nasty, man. That is just so nasty. Look at this. I think I'm gonna save the A2. All right, he got the block damage. Let's use the A2 on Odin. He blocked the debuff. How did he block the debuff? I'm not quite sure. Okay, he reflected the... What's it called? He actually reflected this freeze, but I'm gonna revive. That's okay. I'm gonna revive. Let's block his skills. There we go. Take his turn meter down. We got another block damage proc. I'm gonna heal up. Yeah, let's slow them down. Oh, we got sheep here. It's all good though. I cannot do anything. I cannot deal damage at the moment because we don't have freeze anywhere, right? That is kind of the thing. Come on, Fear. You need to proc. Why did he get... Oh my god. That polymorph. I hate polymorph so much. Whew, that was close. No, don't kill me. Don't kill my Fjorad. Oh, he survived. We gotta get rid of this block damage. Otherwise, I can't do anything. All right, we're gonna do this. And now, let's actually... Should we go with the A2? No, we should kill him. Boom. The target changed again. This is unbelievable. The target changed again, guys. There we go. We got him stunned. Okay, we killed Fjorad with the reflect, but we're gonna try to make sure Embers doesn't do anything. All right. I think we got this. Yeah, we got this. So yeah, I guess as long as you are able to place freeze debuffs, you're good. If you don't have freeze, it is so hard to use him properly, right? That's kind of like the thing. So yeah, you really have to play around that freeze and utilize it, because otherwise his whole purpose is not there. His whole job, he can't do his job without the freeze. That is kind of like the thing. And again, I want to mention that I'm facing people that have, maybe accounts that are less progressed than mine. This is off season. I face a lot of people that are not on my account level. So again, this might be different on season, but I also want to say that there are top tier arena players that are using Fjorad. There are a few ones. Okay, this guy left. Unfortunate. I want one more match. I want one more match where I can use Fjorad. We got Zen free to play again. I think he's in Bones clan too, so shout out to Bones, the German content creator. All right, I got 5 more fights, and I really want to show at least one more Fjorad fight. Like I said, he's a niche pick, so you cannot use him all the time, right? And I also don't want to show a lot of fights here that are not involving him. I just want to say that the majority of times right now, I'm not picking him because it's not the right situation or the right team that I'm facing to pick him. Where this right now seems very promising, okay? This seems very promising, and we're going to try to do it, okay? Let's do it. Come on. Come on. We have Marius already, which is exactly what we want, right? We want the enemy to pick Marius. So the thing is, most players do have Embers and Marius. Carnage, right? Fabian. Those were free-to-play champions. Fabian was a fusion. Embers. Everybody will get Embers. Everybody will get Marius at some point. You just have to play long enough. Same as Carnage. So when I pick Embers, I'm already, improving the chance that the enemy will pick Marius, basically. Now what I'm going to do here is use Fjorad. But what we're also going to do, okay, is pick Crixia. Because either way, I'm going to lock him out, okay? I'm going to lock him out, and I'm also going to cut in. All right? I'm going to ban Marius, not Marius. What am I saying? I'm going to ban Armance. Because for one, he can control us. He can sheep Fjorad, sheep Embers, even though they have a wand. I still don't want to risk it. And his magic affinity. Okay, he's probably going to ban Embers, I'm pretty sure. What is this pick? What the? I've never seen this Crypt King Growl pick in live arena, ever. That is insane. Now I kind of feel bad. Kind of feel bad that I'm going to show him the power of Fjorad. No Stone Skin. Oh, but he has a fast Arbiter. I have to say he had a fast Arbiter, okay? So there we go. What we're going to do is Petrification on Carnage, so he doesn't counterattack and all these things. But yeah, Again, this is not really a good, not really a good example. Okay, this is not really a good example, but regardless, I can still show you how I utilize Fjorad and his freeze. So I'm gonna use the A3 again. Got Marius frozen, swap forms, and then block revive. I could have used the A2 here and killed the whole team. I just wanted to show that again, how to properly use him. Now here, obviously, you would have used the A2. Yes, the A2, so you hit everyone. And maybe kill the whole team. Alright, we got a few more tries. I want a proper fight, like previously, against that nice. I don't think this is going to be a proper fight. Alright, level 99. This is probably a little whale account, baby whale. Hopefully it is. I want to face a stronger opponent. Okay, pick 6-star Fabian straight away. Kind of annoying, but we're gonna play around it. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. Yeah, let's do it like this. I'm gonna pick Crix here, and then I'm not gonna pick Galathier here. Unless he's going crazy with like nice and things. Oh, we got a Marius. We got a Carnage Marius thing going on. Beautiful, okay? That is exactly what we want. So yeah, let's actually pick Fjorad now. I'm actually gonna pick Fjorad now, okay? Or who could I pick? You know, let's actually think. No. I'm gonna go with Fjorad now, okay? Let's do this. Let's do this. Confidence. We got the Fjorad confidence, okay? Oh, perfect. This will probably be a perfect example what this could look like, okay? Let me just think. How can I do this the proper way? Ah, man, I don't know if my R base is built or not. That is so unfortunate. And we're gonna ban Sigfront. Okay, we're gonna ban Sigfront. Now let's see. We might lose this actually. You know, this is a pretty strong team. He has 6-star IP, Carnage, big aura. You know, he might be faster with his Fabian, actually. Man, who knows? He also has Neve. I can't lock out Marius. This is a risky matchup here. Okay, this is very risky. I also cannot put the decreased speed on Fabian, but I have to reduce the... Oh, yes. He has supersonic, guys. That's not good. That's not good at all. But maybe we can do it. Come on. Come on, Fjorad. Take a turn. Yes. Fjorad got a turn. Now it's GG's. I mean, Carnage can still pretty much kill us. Okay. But we've... Okay. Okay. This is looking good. Looking good. Now let's swap forms. And now, goodbye, Marius. Block damage. Doesn't matter. Whatever. And now we should just... let's A1 Fabian so he can't do things what he normally would do, right? He can't lock us out. He can't remove buffs. Now Carnage is gonna be a menace. Yeah. He knew what's coming. Okay, he knew what's coming. We have to swap forms with our base though. We have to do it. We have to do it. Now what we're gonna do here is, should we give Embrys a turn so he actually heals up? No, let's go with Fjorad. And now A2 with Fjorad. GG's. Goodbye. Goodbye, Carnage. Fjorad is just too strong. Fjorad is just too strong, okay? He's OP, right? He's OP. Man, he has a whole wolf pelt on his head, okay? He killed a wolf, man. He can only be OP. There's no other option. He went into the forest, pretty much bare naked, killed the wolf, came back with the wolf's head on his head, okay? That's how badass he is. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do it like this. He picked Fabian. We gotta work around the thing when they pick Fabian, you know. Gotta make sure we have some counter to it. Yeah, let's pick Fjorad here. Let's see. Siffy. He's probably gonna. What is he gonna do? He's going to ban Crixia probably. I'm gonna ban Carnage and hope he doesn't ban Crixia. Okay, let's do this. All right, all right. We're still gonna go first, I think. We have the bigger aura. We have a similar intimidating presence and similar blessing. Okay. No, I can't believe this. No stone skin at all. This is crazy. This is actually crazy. I want to trigger the sheep. Maybe I can. Okay, I love this, man. I love this. Look, Enfeeble on Shuzan. Freeze on Marius. Okay? We don't even need to freeze anymore. Actually, I'm going to swap forms here. And then just do this. It's whatever. Let's do this again. Let's actually block revive. Armance. I will not freeze. I will just go like this. I don't want to trigger the sheep and get polymorphed. Goodbye, Marius. Now it's just Siffy and Fabian, right? Block revived, Armand and Marius. There's nothing he can do. Nothing he can do. Alright guys, I think you get the idea of how to use him. Obviously, I have to say this again, probably the third time, but these people that I'm facing, they have way weaker accounts than me, and it's probably not a super good showcase, but it's the best I can do. I cannot choose who I fight here, right? But I can just show you how to use or utilize Fjorad. And the best way to do it is to use him against champions like Marius, champions like Galeus, champions from the Gallant Pact, okay? That's where he shines and where he's really strong. Obviously, he can also work in different situations, right? He's a HP-based nuker. But if he doesn't place that freeze, that's where it gets a little bit, harder to kill people. That's the thing. That's the biggest downside of Fjorad. Now, I think this is another great situation where we can use him, and probably the last fight I'm going to do for this video. So I think this is a good, maybe we will lose it, who knows, right? Maybe we will lose it, and that's totally fine with me if we lose it. That's okay. I'm going to ban Marichka here. I don't want to, actually, I'm going to ban Taras, okay? I'm going to ban Taras here because I don't want to deal with 2 damage dealers. I don't think he can actually be effective with Marius only when I have Fjorad. Now, it was very smart from him to ban Fabian because now I can't lock him out. So that was a smart move, smart ban here, but I think I'm faster, unless he's crazy fast. Yeah, I'm definitely faster. He's going to counterattack. No Enfeeble, unfortunately, but that's okay. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do the A2 because we can strip some shields here. Okay, we got this. We got this. Now, we can actually use the A1 here, right? We're going to use the A1s, no problem. Now we're going to freeze. Boom. Swap forms, and then it's GG's. He only has 1 damage dealer. If I make sure to kill that and block revive that damage dealer like this, there's no coming back. There's nothing he can do now. Okay, there's nothing he can do. And all I'm trying to do now is survive, right? But he only has Theodosia, Marichka, and Neve. Now, Neve can do some damage, I guess, right? But not enough. It's not going to be enough, all right? And that is the thing. Now, I'm going to block revive Theodosia here. Boom. Let's actually... Yeah, we can just use the A2. It doesn't matter. And that is it. That is pretty much the power of block revive, right? We have it on Empress. We have 2 block revives here, basically. Potentially. Okay? Look, I'm going to block revive Neve now, too, if she doesn't have a aspect. Yeah, there we go. That, I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. I didn't have an option to deal with block damage, and I wasn't paying too much attention to Fjorad's block damage skill, but I find it very, very strong. I have to be honest, I think it's very, very strong if you utilize it in the right situation like this, right? This is the perfect situation. I'm going to go into, 2 revivers. It's a very reviver heavy meta, right? We have Marichka, Theodosia, then here's Neve with the block damage, but Fjorad doesn't care about block damage. And he also doesn't care about Marius because Marius is from the Galen Pact. So you're going to freeze Marius and you're going to hit through block damage. And then you have those 2 revivers that can't revive their damage dealer. So now they don't have a purpose, right? You lost the fight. That's pretty much how it goes. So yeah, guys, I hope you got the idea of how to use Fjorad the right way. Now, is he the top tier, carry you through all the fights champion? No, he's not, right? You cannot use him against everyone. You cannot use him all the time. He's not, in general, the best pick to go for in fights. Like Marius. Marius is actually a very good damage dealer for most situations, right? So with that being said, Fjorad has his niche picks where he shines. And when he comes into those situations, then he's great, right? So yeah, now in my opinion, he's one of the most underrated champions in Raid, and at least from the Mythicals. He's one of the most underrated champions. Fjorad, look at his ratings. I mean, these ratings are from before the rebalance, but still, I think this is not even close to being true. I think he's an absolutely amazing Fire Knight champion. I would give him a 4.5 for Fire Knight's Castle, maybe even a 5, right? He's maybe between 4.5 and 5, in my opinion, okay? For arena offense, I would give him a 4, okay? I would give him a 4 because he's a niche pick, but in those niche situations, he's great, right? He's useful. Same thing for Faction Wars. I would give him a 4, okay? On arena defenses, I would also go with a 4 because he can be quite annoying. I mean, think about it. Anytime the enemy places a debuff on your team, you have a chance to place a freeze debuff. And that cannot be blocked. So if you have block debuffs, it doesn't matter, right? You're just going to freeze those champions. And that is where he's actually pretty amazing. Believe it or not, he's actually pretty cool. So yeah, like I said, I hope they will reset those ratings and let people rate him again. And I hope this will shine a different light on this champion because I really had a lot of fun lately. I pulled him recently, not too long ago. And he improved my Fire Knight team, like I already said. He improved my arena experience, my PvP experience. I'm performing better in different situations against block damage. Niche situations, but hey, I have another option that I can pick, and he's pretty good. So, do I wish he was nice level, Commodus level? Obviously, I would, but if we start comparing mythical champions to only the top tier PvP champions like Nice, Siegfried, and so on, then, every single mythical champion will be bad, right? And I don't really like this trend of, saying, wow, this champion is trash. He cannot really, he's not nice level. We had the same thing with Knut as a fusion. After that, everyone was like, yeah, but the next fusion is not going to be Knut level, so it's trash. I think every single champion has a place and time where he can shine in this game, except Frolny. Frolny is just total doo-doo. I'm just joking. I just don't like Frolny. I think Fjorad is, I'm a big Frony hater. You have to know that, okay? I hate Frony so much. I pulled him twice now. I got a 4-star soul. I tried to use him. I invested books. Absolute, I don't know. I think the right word is disappointment. And I think, you know, a lot of players would probably disagree, but hey, feel free to prove me wrong. I don't think he's great at all. I think he needs a rebalance. I don't want to talk about Frony anymore, but another champion, another mythical champion that I think truly needs a buff is Garo. Those two are probably the ones, you know, that where you could say they really need a rework, okay? I know Garo can be good for Hydra. I know Garo can be good for Faction Wolfheart, but only if she has a 6-star crushing rend, which is, you know, who not everyone or most players won't get a 6-star soul for Garo. So it's like, why is this champion not useful without a 6-star soul in this content? That's just something that doesn't make sense to me. It should be a great experience to pull a mythical champion, and then not, you know, it should not be a disappointment to pull one. And I have to be honest, it was a disappointment for me to pull Fjorad. It was, but, you know, he proved me wrong. He proved me wrong. I got a lot of upgrades. And I don't want to say other champions can't do that too. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, there are other champions that can do the same thing. He's my best option, right? So while others, like a Galeas, for example, don't have a condition to ignore block damage, they just have it straight in there, will ignore block damage, don't have to place freeze. You know, this is much better, obviously. But then again, the synergy of Fjorad against Skinwalkers makes him a potential counterpick to Galeas. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that. You have to put it in perspective. And if you manage to pull it off to freeze this Galeas and block revive him, it doesn't matter what he ignores, right? He's dead and he won't come back. And that's pretty much what this video was about. I hope I was able to show that. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about Fjorad? Do you still think he's trash? Because he really grew on me. And I'm going to keep working on this champion. Going to keep improving his build because I really think he has a spot on my account. And yeah, guys, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more raid content. The YouTube algorithm is going to suggest you a video that you might like right here. See you in the next one.